Hi, I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to the Let's Keep Moving with Risha podcast. This is Risha. I'm a motivational speaker, and I love talking about things that will help you keep moving in your life, especially on areas like life, mental health, love, growth, and everything in between. So if you're ready, let's keep moving. First of all, I'd like to start off with greeting you Happy New Year. I know it's super late to greet you a Happy New Year because it's already 15th of the month, the 15th of the month, and yeah, it's so late to greet you that. But thank you. Thank you so much for being here, for supporting the show. I know I took like 4 weeks off, pero hindi naman sunod-sunod. I took 4 weeks off out of posting here on Spotify. But you know what's amazing despite doing that, despite taking a rest, is that people will still appreciate the work that you do, the work that you already put in, and you should not be guilty for resting. You know, as a content creator, as a motivational speaker, how it feels so good to be called a motivational speaker. And as someone who hustles at this very young age, there's always a call or like a desire or a big push to do more. And I felt that. I really felt that I have to post consistently, I have to post every week, I have to just post more. But there's always like a thin line, if not a thick line, that separates you from getting started, from actually doing it, from taking that first step. And that's exactly what we're gonna have to talk about today. That is limiting beliefs. Our favorite, that voice at the back of our head that says, you're not qualified enough, it's too early for this, you're too young for this, who the hell are you to do this? Yung mga ganong boses. And I'm sharing this because I'm not just the one experiencing it. Lots of people, lots of people experience imposter syndrome. Lots of people experience those negative self talk. And sometimes we just got used to it. We just got used to the feeling that, okay, it's there. But the worst feeling is realizing that you did not get anything started because you listened to these voices. So, my intention today is to help you not get rid of your limiting beliefs 100%, but to help you move, like what I'm always promising, to help you move, to help you get started despite all these limiting beliefs. And I want to start this with a story, like how we always do it here in the podcast. We always start everything with a story. So last week, I posted a Google form on my Facebook page as well as on my Instagram story that I'll be hosting finally my first ever free public speaking webinar. And I've been wanting to do this. I've put this off for a long while. Because at the back of my head, like what I said, sino ba naman ako para magturo ng public speaking? Even I still get so nervous speaking in front of crowds. I still get that nerves. I still fear the crowd. But you know what? Sabi ko, I'll just do it. Let's just see what happens. And you know what's surprising? Just a day or 2 days after posting it, you would not believe me. Over 100 people signed up for the course. Over 100 people wanted to attend the course or wanted to attend the webinar. And that's so unbelievable. A couple of days after, before the actual webinar, over 200 people signed up. And that's mind blowing. I was like, really? With all these people who wanted to learn public speaking, how come I've put this off for months? Kasi parang iniisip ko palagi na, bakit ko ba ituturo to? I'm just young. I'm just 21 years old. Who am I? Who will listen to me? There's a lot of professional public speakers out there. There's a lot of great speakers out there. I even follow some people who are teaching public speaking. Why would I even teach it to people who would be interested? But guess what? We got 200 people who signed up for the webinar. And that's a huge win for me. We made it happen last January 12th, maybe yes, I wasn't able to have those 200 or 100 people in the room, but still, over 60 people showed up. Over 60 people wanted to learn, and I can't believe that I've put this off for months. So that's my story for today's episode. It's only a proof that if I just get started months before, well, siguro it could have been different. But it's not worth it to overthink about anything. If I just did that Google form, just edited it and post it, people will still show up. Maybe not as many as that, but people will still do. People will still believe in you. People will still show up to learn, to know how. And honestly, maybe it happened for a reason because I wouldn't be sharing this episode with you if not. Kasi before, the only education na I believed in was the system na I learned ever since, like elementary, high school, the teachers I admired before. But when I was still starting with all these stuff I'm doing, with work, with content, with motivational speaking, I solely relied on educational courses online. Like, real thing, this is no joke. I started with YouTube videos, started buying online courses. I started investing my money to learn. And I know the power of it. So, yes, for a while, I am thinking of sharing something I know, of what made me or what got me invited to more than 10 speaking engagements last year at this young age. It took me a while to realize na the experience that I have right now, it took me a while to realize na the experience that I have right now, the situation that I'm currently finding myself in, is actually my edge. It's actually my advantage. And today I'm going to teach you how to find your advantage, how to actually take advantage of where you are right now. But before that, I also want to discuss some imposter syndrome triggers kasi I feel like we don't know much of what's happening inside of us or outside of us. We don't even know na, okay, imposter syndrome na pala ito. Hindi natin alam na ito na pala yung sinasabi nilang limiting beliefs. Ito na pala yung pumipigil sa akin na gawin yung mga bagay na gusto ko. For instance, I'll be sharing some of my experiences because we love sharing personal stories. We love sharing experiences of mine na I know people can relate and I know people can find value in it. And they can also see themselves throughout those experiences of mine. So, yeah, for instance, whenever I receive compliments or praises, that's when my imposter syndrome gets triggered. Alam mo yung, okay na eh, pero I receive praises and compliments, and then I felt like, who am I to receive these compliments? I haven't even proved anything. Why are these people throwing some good stuff to me? I don't even know what I'm doing. I talked to my partner about this, and like me, he doesn't always like being praised by a lot of people. And you know what? That's just a simple example that your imposter syndrome is being triggered. When someone is praising you, when someone is throwing compliment to you, like, ang galing mo naman, ang galing mo, paano mo nagawa yun? Ang ganda mo today. There's always like that feeling of giving the compliment back to him or to that person who gave that to you. Hindi mo man lang hinug genuinely yung compliment na yun, hindi ka man lang naniwala. That's one of the very simple example that your imposter syndrome gets triggered. You do not believe when people believe in you. You do not accept compliments wholeheartedly. And maybe this is a sign na when someone compliments you, you accept it wholeheartedly. You accept it genuinely like it's true. You say thank you. I've really worked hard for this. I really appreciate it that you like it. It only takes like a few moments to hug that compliment. Why not do it? Another thing na-experience ko personally, and this is when I felt like, okay, this is my imposter syndrome doing the work. Whenever I am around professionals, whenever I am around experts, whenever I am being asked to speak in front of others, na alam ko na one or two people in front of me could be better off talking about the things that I'm saying. When I see others succeed in similar areas or in similar roles when sometimes I overheard positive comments about someone else's work. When I start something new, when I started a new educational course or program or anything, when I get chosen to speak, there's just a lot of situations where my imposter gets triggered. And for sure, you also experience the same thing. You're here because you want to get rid of it. You're here because you want to get past it. Last weekend, I made it happen. 60 people showed up. I know I did a lot of masterclass before. Only one masterclass for 2023. Only a few people showed up. And then last weekend, over 60 people showed up. They were listening to me, and it made me feel like this is not so bad. It's not so bad to start something, to share what I know at least. And finally, I got students in who enrolled for my course. And how amazing is that? With all those limiting beliefs, people still believed in me. And I'm so excited because the course is almost done and it's going to launch on February 4th. By the way, if you're interested, you might want to check it out. I'll leave the link down in the description if you want to learn more about public speaking, if you want to know the secrets on how you can be invited to speak to events, to universities, to big organizations, then you might want to check it out and be part of this growing community. So, yeah, that's about it for the promo. But right now, I just want to share how I get past it. Right now, I'm in a space of, I'll just do it, of not allowing these triggers stop me from doing what I want, and most importantly, from getting started. And today, I am going to show you how. Friends, if you're interested to know how to get rid of your limiting beliefs, without further ado, let's keep moving. First of all, I want to emphasize how important this first step is. Understand the root of causes or the root causes of your limiting beliefs. Kasi when we were born, we existed in a pure space of innocence. We're purely innocent. Our minds are just like a garden waiting to be fertile, waiting to be planted. And as we progressed through life, yung mga unique experiences natin with other people, with our environment, our moments of joy, frustration, sadness, anger, and instances of trauma. Collectively, lahat ng yon, they all molded our perceptions of the world and our role, our place in it. And not too many people notice. We feel like we're all responsible for the beliefs that we have right now, but a huge part of it is influenced by the people who raised us, by the people who were with us when we were younger. And this is surprising kasi neuroscience informs us that up until the age of 7, our brains continuously absorb information. We're essentially undergoing through a continuous process of downloading information. And sa natin nakukuha yung mga downloads na yon? We get it from our personal encounters of joy, of relationships with other people, of traumas, of sadness, of frustrations, of happenings in our lives. And little do we know na it is already programming us as we grow older. And this is a very, if not a very crucial period in our development. Kasi 'di ba nung bata tayo, we don't even know what's right or wrong. Someone has to tell us what's right and what's wrong. Our parents need to tell us what's right and wrong before we get to identify what is really good to do and what's bad to do. And reflecting on our childhood innocence during those early years pa, concepts like self-limiting beliefs doesn't even exist. Wala pa yun eh. It's very like alien to our minds. And the notions of right and wrong, good and bad, were instilled through teachings of our parents, shaping our belief systems under the influence of so many people. Like what I said, our caregivers, our family members, our friends, even religious institutions, the school system, and with respect to the contemporary world, social media. Di ba nung bata tayo, our parents would always tell us to smile. To always like smile because that's how people come to you. You always have to smile so that you look genuine, you look happy, and we're always urged to smile to be good, to be a good boy or to be a good girl. But those early instructions might contribute to struggles in expressing ourselves more deeply, experiencing guilt over feelings of sadness or anger. And because of this programming, we might find ourselves getting challenged to assert what we want, to just simply say no when we want to. Right now, if you witness one parent consistently fighting the other, such encounter, yung mga ganong experiences mo, it could lead you to your perception of love. 'Di ba? When you see your parents fighting, it might program you to believe na, that's how love is. Kasi nakita ko yun sa family ko. Nakita ko yun sa mga kapatid ko. That's how love is. 'Di ba kaya nga, minsan when we meet someone, pag inaasar tayo, pag iniinis tayo, sometimes that's how they were programmed to love. Baka nakita nila yon growing up in their families. That's how they project love towards others. And it's good when it's happening positively. But what if it's happening the other way around? What if someone is abused back when they were younger? What if someone got bullied? What if someone gets hurt by the people they love? It might program them to believe na that's how love is. When your parents tell you na, kaya kita sinasaktan dahil mahal kita. The greatest catastrophe that this person can experience growing up is that he or she will attract someone, maybe a partner, or a husband or a wife, that will do the same thing, and he or she will perceive it as love. And I hope you get the same thing kasi I've talked about this a lot of times before. How we were programmed back when we were younger is how we project ourselves to the world when we grow older. And it's a very powerful tool when you know where this is all coming from. Kaya nga sabi ko, you have to understand where your limiting beliefs are coming from first if you want to fix it. Baka there was a situation back when you were younger when you draw something and then someone laughed at you. Maybe there was a situation before when you got embarrassed and that's when you started or you stopped dancing or singing. Maybe there was a situation before in your life when you were younger when someone bullied you, when someone abused you, when someone hurt you. That's actually related why you are not starting this business, why you are not starting this creative venture, why you are not getting started on what you want. Kasi something is holding you back. You got to know what's holding you back before you can kick it out of your brain. There's a lot of people who journey throughout their life not realizing that the beliefs they cooked up about themselves are the real killers why they can't start something. Some people don't take a moment to look at these beliefs straight in the eye and figure out where they came from. And that's what I want you to do first. If you want to learn how to kick them out, learn what they are first. So first things first, acknowledge them. Acknowledge where those self-limiting beliefs are coming from. You have to recognize where all these negative talks came from during your adventures in life. And once you're okay with that, you might be ready to hit the reset button. You might be ready to ditch the negative self-talk. And you can be ready to do something towards some positive changes. That's exactly the first step. Understand the root causes of your self-limiting beliefs. And the next thing after acknowledging them and understanding them is to be willing to do things as a beginner. And for sure, you're very guilty of this. Gusto natin kasi expert agad tayo. Gusto natin maganda agad. Gusto natin magaling na agad tayo sumulat. gusto natin maganda na agad yung drawing natin, but only if you realize that you just have to get started to keep the fire burning. You just need to take that first step. I was reading this book by Ryan Holiday. Actually, I'm just getting started. And I read this from the introduction, and it says, ego is the enemy of building, maintaining, of recovering. We always want to show off as an expert. We always want to be the best. We always want to be the best in our fields. We always want to create something all perfect. But no one can be an expert without starting. No one can be an expert without trying something first. And here's what I want to tell you. And I want you to take this seriously, especially you. Embarking on new adventures, new creative endeavors, it often requires the humility to embrace the role of a beginner. And the willingness to start from scratch. It really signifies an openness to learning and a recognition that expertise is actually cultivated through experience. You see these people teaching what they teach because they started. You see these people being so good at what they do because it's been like 10 years since they've been doing this. When we approach things with a beginner's mindset, we actually free ourselves from the weight of expectations from other people and the expectations we set for ourselves. It allows room for curiosity, for acceptance of mistakes, of messing up, and it's part of the learning process. So, to you, honestly, being a beginner encourages a sense of adventure, and I want you to embrace that. It pushes us out of the comfort zone. It gives us an opportunity for personal growth, and most importantly, of course, resilience. As early as now, we have to acknowledge that mastery is a journey rather than an immediate destination. And I want you to keep repeating that to yourself. Mastery is a journey rather than an immediate destination. In essence, being willing to do things as a beginner is never a sign of being inadequate or not being competent, but rather a powerful step to being open, to being resilient, and a commitment to ongoing growth. It allows an approach in life with, a sense of wonder, a sense of embracing challenges, and of course, opportunities. And ultimately, you will definitely grow during this time of your life. Always have the attitude of like, tell me more, and that's how I can give more. By knowing more and by giving more, can you actually become an expert in your field or in whatever you do? The next thing that I can advise if you want to get rid of limiting beliefs is to change the narrative you told yourself. Palagi ko tong sinasabi, you have to cut yourself some slack because you're trying so hard. You're doing your best. You always have the power to control the narrative running through your mind. You can replace those negative thoughts with some positive thoughts by means of like when you catch yourself thinking, I cannot do this, I'm not qualified, switch it up and like you can loudly say this to yourself, I'll give it my best shot. There's nothing wrong with trying. Instead of going back or dwelling on your past failures, focus on the times when you conquered all those challenges, even challenges na are not related with what you're doing. It's like rewiring your brain that the glass is half full rather than it being half empty. Friends, especially to you, your words are very powerful. Make sure that you're using it to your advantage. Stop telling yourself na you cannot do it. Instead, start telling yourself that even if you don't know how to do it, you'll give it your best shot. You'll give the best that you can do. And it's a starting point. So for example, when you tell yourself na you don't have time, instead of telling yourself na wala kang oras, the narrative shift that you can do and that you can start telling yourself is, I can make time for what matters to me. I can make time for what's important to me. When you catch yourself telling yourself na, I will never be enough. I will never have enough. You can tell yourself na, I live in abundance where there is more than enough and I know na I can provide. Next is, for example, this is very common. I won't be happy until I become successful. You can tell yourself, my happiness is rooted within me. My happiness is within me. It's already in me, not in the results that I do. And sometimes we catch ourselves telling this, I'm not worthy of love. I am stuck. And you can start telling to yourself loudly, every day, I am worthy of the same love I give to others. I trust that everything that is meant for me will come my way. And you can start watching your life get better when you start changing the stories you told yourself, to stop buying the negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs, and start investing in a new narrative, in a new story. Friends, I hope you're enjoying the valuable insights we've shared so far today. But before we move on to the fourth one, if you haven't already, please make sure to click that follow button here on Spotify, because by doing so, you'll never miss an episode and you'll be the first one to know when new content is released, which is every Monday. So hit that follow button now and let's keep moving. So we've talked about first understanding that there's a root cause why you're having that limiting beliefs. Next is be willing to do things as a beginner. There's nothing wrong with showing up every single day, having the attitude of, I don't know anything yet, but please tell me more. And we can also get rid of limiting beliefs by means of changing the narrative we told ourselves. By loudly telling ourselves na instead of we don't have time, we actually make time for what's important to us. And for the fourth one, and this is very important, seek evidence to the contrary. What does this mean? When you look for evidence na you're not loved, you're not worthy, you're incapable, you actually find evidence that you really are incapable, that you really are unworthy, that you really are not qualified. So if you're finding evidence or if you're looking for evidence to support your limiting beliefs, why not you seek evidence to the contrary? Why not you look evidence that you are loved, that you're worthy, that you deserve so much more and that you're qualified? Looking for evidence that contradicts your limiting beliefs. You have to identify instances in your life where you already defied these beliefs or achieve success despite them. Because this will help you. And I'm telling this because it's true. This will help you build a new narrative that emphasizes your capabilities more. Sabi nga, diba, we are all born so beautiful, but the greatest tragedy in this lifetime is being convinced that we are not. And we're only convinced that we are not beautiful if we're looking for evidence that we are ugly. So you have to look for evidence that you are beautiful. Look for it because you will always find it. But sometimes, I know for sure na sasabihin nyo sa akin na, Miss Risha, I just keep seeing evidence that I'm unworthy. Like, nangyari to sa akin, nakita ko to, I lost my job, I got bankrupt, this is happening to me, all the negative things are happening to me. Maybe the reason why it keeps happening is because you're putting your focus in there way too much. That you're already attracting negative things. But what if starting today, you started looking for evidence that you're successful? You started looking for evidence that you are loved. You start looking for evidence that it can be beautiful and it can be better for you. And you know what? Yeah, you can watch the magic happens. You can watch how life will present opportunities for you if you start looking for the good things in your life. Grabe, I feel like I'm sounding more like a manifestation coach. But since the retreat kasi, I felt like more magic is happening to me because I'm becoming more present. I'm becoming more of who I really am. And I'm actually looking for evidence that I am worthy and that I deserve so much more. And it's just amazing how the universe is actually doing the same thing. That the universe is like conspiring to be on my favor all the time. And lastly, for our fifth tip on how you can get rid of self-limiting beliefs, on how you can have a good life and be happier, is if you set realistic goals. So, for me, you can start it with this. Picture your big dream or ambition. It's like this huge mountain that seems a bit challenging from afar. Now, instead of staring at the whole mountain, you can break it down to similar bite-sized hills. So these little hills are your steps, the actionable steps, your mini goals. And how does this work? It's like turning a big task into series of doable missions or tasks. And suddenly that mountain doesn't seem so scary anymore when you're conquering just one hill at a time. Plus, every time you tick off that mini goal, every time you like put a list or like planting a flag on your personal victory, you're not just climbing. You're already building like a track record of your personal success. Pero kasi yung parang pagbe-breakdown natin ng mga tasks or mga big tasks, it's not just about making the journey seems less like an endless hike. It's also about proving to yourself na kaya ko pala, na you can do this. Each little victory is like a trail of evidence showing na, hey younger self, I am making progress. Hey, I'm improving. And guess what? That progress is the sneaky little secret to getting rid of limiting beliefs. When your mind and when your brain discovers na, okay, you're improving, you're making progress, you're doing good, that limiting beliefs will slowly fade because you're already making progress. The reason why we just can't get started with whatever we want to do is because there's a huge goal. It's because there's a huge goal that seems impossible. But only if you make tiny choices, make tiny goals out of that, you're actually sending your limiting beliefs a signal that, hey, it's not so big. Hey, I can do this. Hey, I'm making progress. And now here's the secret sauce. When you make progress, you have to celebrate those wins as well. Because seriously, you can throw a little party to yourself when you hit a milestone. It could be a small victory for yourself. It could just be a moment of acknowledging how far you've come. Because it's been so far. You've come really far. And celebrating success, honestly, it isn't just about patting yourself on the back. It's more of reinforcing the idea that you're actually fully capable of achieving what you set your mind to. When you feel like you're celebrating success, when you feel like, ay, ang sarap pala sa feeling na you're celebrating something, you're reinforcing and you're rewiring your brain to work harder, to work more, to start something so that you get to celebrate the feeling again. Break it down, conquer those little hills, and throw yourself a victory party, a little victory party along the way. If you found value in this podcast, I truly appreciate it if you could take a moment to give this episode a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform. Your ratings and reviews help us reach more people and continue delivering meaningful and life-changing content. So, yeah, that's about it for my 5 steps on how you can get rid of limiting beliefs. It's really hard to get rid of limiting beliefs. I can agree with you with that. We all have self-limiting beliefs. Even the most expert in the room have them. But the thing here is we should not let it stop us from achieving success, from achieving our fullest potential. It is a responsibility to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves to learn how to challenge these beliefs so we can live a happier and more fulfilling life. And trust me, it takes time. It really, really takes time. It's about constantly evolving, but the more we work on it, but the more we work our subconscious mind muscle, the stronger we get and the faster we can shut all these limiting beliefs or all these limiting thoughts when they come up. That's about it, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope na you got some insights from this because honestly, I'd love to know your thoughts. I know that I've been like out and I took some break off for a few weeks, but you're gonna see me for the next coming week, especially next Monday. I am so grateful that you still keep coming back for more. And I promise to show up every day for myself and for everyone who needs to hear more of this content. So, like always, you have an assignment. What are the limiting beliefs you have? You can be vulnerable on the comment section because I'm reading all of them. And we can also you can also use the poll section. Are your limiting beliefs holding you back? You can also share your favorite takeaways on social media, and please don't forget to tag me at Risha Marceliana because your feedback and thoughts are extremely invaluable to me, and I can't wait to see what resonated most with you. Again, this has been your friend and your host, Risha. Know that I am grateful for you. I have always been, and I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you big time. I'll see you in the next few days. I'll see you next Monday. Don't forget to always keep moving. Bye!